Call the meeting of the Bay County Board of Commissioners to order Tuesday, July 18th, 2023 at 4 p.m. Commission chambers. Roll call, please.
Nemec? Present. Benazir?
Present.
Millet?
Here.
Herrick?
Move to excuse.
Recchi? Here. Hoyer?
Present.
Begic?
Here. I'll take a motion for it.
I made a motion to excuse Tom. Is that what you said?
Support.
Yeah.
Support, yeah.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. What's that? Invocation and then the pledge.
Lord, we come before you this afternoon asking that once again that you bless this session of the County Commission, be with this board this day and guide them so that the decisions made today and always will benefit every citizen of this community. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, minutes from 6/20/23.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Agenda approval.
I'll move it.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Citizen input. 5 minutes. If you would like to speak? Citizen, second call. Third call, close citizen input. Petitions and Communications, Raymond Robson, Bay County 2022 audit presentation.
I am Doug Gator with Rehmann, and we performed the audit for the county again for December 31st, 2022 for the county's fiscal year. I handed out 4 documents to you. One is the big county audit report. This includes all the information and is what is submitted to the Government Finance Officers Association for their review and approval as well. Then there are 2 documents stapled on Raymond letterhead, the thicker one. There's some required communications that us as auditors are required to have with the board. That's what's in this document here, okay, the thicker stapled one. And then the thinner stapled one on our letterhead. This is a separate report on internal controls and has any findings during the audit included in this. And then the 4th document is the PowerPoint that I put together that summarizes those other documents. So I'm going to focus on the PowerPoint. If there's something else within those other documents you want to look at in more detail, I'm happy to do that. But I'm just going to run through the summarized information. And on each page in the top left corner, there is a page reference to the audit report. So if you want more information about what's summarized on that page, it tells you which page number to go to in the audit report for further information. So first of all, we issued what's called an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. It means the financial statements are fairly presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. It's basically a clean opinion, the same opinion that counties received over the years, and it's the highest level of assurance the independent auditors can provide on the financial statements. The next page looks at the general fund. This is the main operating fund of the county. And this page shows the assets, liabilities, and the fund balance, or what's left over at the end of the year for future. Broken down in different categories. The first section, total assets. Remember, this is at one point in time. This is at December 31st, 2022. Total assets were $25.2 million. Most of that is in investments in cash. And really, the only changes during the year from 21 and 22, if you look side by side, is cash went down a couple $100,000 and investments went down about $600,000. So about an $800,000 change in assets. Liabilities, so these are things that were incurred prior to December 31st, 2022, but not paid until after fiscal year ended. There's normal trade accounts payable of $922,000, and then there's other liabilities of just over $5 million. part of that 5 million, there's 2.1 in ARPA funding that is considered unearned. So the ARPA fund transferred 4.2 million to the general fund. General fund only spent 2.1 of that as of December 31st. So I believe the other 2.1 will be spent in 2023. And therefore, the general fund can't recognize that revenue until it's actually expended. So that's what the unearned means. There's some deferred inflows of resources. So these are for some long-term receivables, and governmental accounting says you can't recognize a revenue unless it's considered available to pay current bills. If it's not available, it gets recognized as revenue in the next fiscal year. So what you see here are deferred inflows. So the county has received the benefit, but can't recognize it as revenue until the next fiscal year. And then what's the difference between those different categories is called fund balance. This is equity. This is what's left over, available for future spending. That's broken down into 5 different categories. You have non-spendable of about $747,000. Non-spendable has to do with some long-term receivables as well that aren't available for future spending. There's some prepaid items where the county prepaid ahead of time on some items. So that just says that portion of the fund balance isn't available for additional future spending at this point in time. The restricted are external third-party restrictions, about $150,000. Committed of 7.3, the board has a budget stabilization agreement or a policy that says you're going to set aside 20% of the most recent budget, and that is what is shown as committed, so that's available to meet if the budget has a shortfall or something in a future year. So that's what that commitment is. Assigned of about 4.3 million is assigned for general services in the general government. And then unassigned is kind of what hasn't been given a formal bucket to go in yet. And so that can be used for any purpose. Next page looks at the general fund revenue and transfers in. It presents the pie chart is the actual numbers for 2022 broken down by the main categories. Down at the bottom, there's a column for what the final amended budget was for each category compared to actual, and then also shows you what 2021 actual was. So as you can see there, total revenue budgeted was $35.5 million. Actual come in at $37.2 million, so better in revenue than what was expected. Most of that is in property taxes, almost $1 million more than budgeted in property taxes, and almost $2 million more in federal revenue. That had, I think, partly to do with the ARPA funding that was recognized that I mentioned earlier. Other revenues, you can see the second line from the bottom, so that's anything that didn't fall in the top 4 categories. And you can see there's a pretty significant change from 21 to 22 of about $2 million swing negative, opposite way. And this had to do with about $2.9 million loss on investments. So governmental accounting says you need to adjust your investments to fair market value at year end. And everybody knows the stock market of December 31st, 2022 was in the tank. That was the impact for the year the county recognized on their investments. Now, at this point, the stock market has rebounded some. That number is going to be totally different. It's going to look a lot better than it did at December 31st. Next page is the general fund expenditures and transfers out, broken down into the different major functions of the county. The county had budgeted almost $43 million in total expenditures, and actual come in at $39.2 million. Nothing real significant when you look at what you expected to happen to the budget. There's some significant swings from 2021, but you had expected that when you set your budget for the year. So there's really nothing real significant there. You had some cost savings that you were maybe not expecting during the year. Next page looks at the change in fund balance. So the change in fund balance is the total revenues and transfers in minus the expenditures and transfers out. The 2022 budget had a reduction, expected reduction in fund balance of $7,465,000. The actual reduction for 2022 was just under $2 million. So a pretty good savings when compared to what you had expected. And then that's really the impact of the additional revenues that came in over budget and the savings you had under budget on the expenditures. So the general fund ended the year with $17,439,000 in a fund balance, and those are that's broken down in those categories I mentioned earlier. Next page, the pension trust fund. This is the fund set up to fund the pension benefits for the retirees of the county. This includes the entire plan. So this is the county, the component units, and BABH. So this is the entire plan that the entire plan that this fund accounts for. So it's a little different than you're going to see on a slide coming up here. So for 2022, there was a restricted net position of $376 million, which almost all of that's in investments. You can see about a $100 million decrease year over year from 21 to 22. If you switch to the next page, you'll see what makes up that difference. And the very first line, again, this is at December 31st, 2022, the pension trust fund had an investment loss of $72.4 million. So that loss, in addition to the deductions that you see, which are the mainly benefit payments coming out, resulted in almost a $91 million reduction in net position. Again, this is one point in time. It's reversing itself and going in a positive direction at this moment, but who knows what's to come. So next one is the VEBA Trust. So this was set up to pay the retiree health care benefits, or to set money aside for the retiree health benefits. This fund at December 31st, 2022 had almost $81 million in net position, and again, almost all of that is in investments. And this had about a $12 million decrease in net position. You look on the next page, that first line again, the investment loss of $13.3 million. Okay. If we switch to the next page, page 11, this is where it changes now. So now what this information is just the county, the county and component units. This excludes BABH. So it gives you an idea of where the county stands as a whole for the pension plan. And this is measured as of December 31st, 2021. So there's a year lag time on this. And the actuary that the county hires does their calculation come up with what the total pension liability is expected to be over the life of the plan, so over the lifespans of all the participants in the plan. So the total pension liability at December 31st, 2021 was expected to be $269.3 million. That's the first column, the total pension liability. The next column, the plan net position, this is the amount that the county has set aside to fund those benefits and is included in the trust fund that I mentioned on the previous page. So again, this is at 2021, the plan net position was $388 million. So there was a net pension asset, or the plan was overfunded in 2021 by $119 million. Now again, this is a plan that had a $90 million decrease during the year as well, so it's not that well funded when you see 2022 next year, right? So it really varies based on the market. The market plays a huge part in this. Next page, the actuary also calculates what the county is required to contribute to the plan to make sure it's fully funded. The county is required to contribute just over $980,000 to this plan in 2022. Now, this is the county and component units, so I want to make sure you remember that. The county's actual contribution was $1,141,000, so about $160,000 over actual, or over what the actuary said you needed to contribute. So again, fully funding the plan. Next page is the same type of information for retiree health care. Again, this is just the county and component units. The top section is December 31st, 2021. Total OPEB, or retiree health care liability, of just over $72 million. And the plan net position is just over $66 million. So this plan is slightly underfunded. You have a net OPEB liability of $5.8 million, but the plan is 92% funded, which is a very well-funded plan compared to other comparable entities in the state. So, and again, this is as of December 31st, 21, when the market was doing fairly well, right? And now we saw that turnaround in 2022, and now we're seeing it, again, bounce back in 2023, so. The bottom section of this page is the required contributions, shows $7.6 million. The county and its component units contributed $6.2 million, so a little bit under what was required for what the actuary says to fully fund the plan. Okay. That was the financial statement audit. We're also working on what's called a single audit. It's still in process. We haven't finalized this yet, but this has to do with the county's expenditure of federal awards. So the federal government says anyone that expends more than $750,000 in federal awards is subject to what's called a single audit. This varies from a financial statement audit because it looks at compliance. It looks at, did you spend it in accordance with what the federal government says you could spend it on? Okay? So the total federal awards expended by the county for 2022 was just under $12 million. About 5.2 of that roughly was ARPA funding that was expended. So we did have two major programs, and I noted this after these were printed, but the major programs are the ones that we have selected to test for the year, and the federal government gives us guidelines and criteria to use to figure out which programs to test. We are testing the provider relief funds, which was provided to the medical care facility of the county, as well as ARPA. So ARPA will be a second major program that's not listed here, but it will be audited as a major program this year. This single audit is required to be submitted to the federal government by September 30th, 2023. So we hope to wrap this up within the next few weeks. Next page, we did have one finding this year. So during the audit process, we look at internal control. And if we come across any issues in the internal control, those are communicated to you as the board. The first page, it looks like a lot, but really it had to do with some audit adjustments that come across that we found during the audit process as we were auditing the information that were required to get the financial statements fairly presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So all these adjustments were posted. They were just found by the audit process and not by the internal controls. So we've already worked with Shauna. I know she's working on strengthening those internal controls to make sure that doesn't happen in the future. Next page was just another item. This is we consider it a minor other matter kind of thing. It's a suggestion to improve. There was one cost, there was an improvement made to one of the county's buildings that really extended the life of the building. When that happens, that improvement should be capitalized and depreciated over the life of that building, the extended life of that building. And there was a small amount that you can see there on the page that was missed and not capitalized. So again, that was another adjustment that was posted during the year. The next two pages are just 5 new accounting standards that are coming into effect in the near future for the county. Really, the GASB 96 one, the top right corner, is probably going to be one of the more significant ones the county is going to have to start looking at. This is effective for December 31st, 2023. This has to do with subscription-based information technology arrangements and how those are accounted for. So I know we've already had some discussions with Shauna and her group, and we will continue to have those throughout the year to make sure the county is ready for that standard when it goes into effect at the end of the year. So that is all I wanted to cover. I will open it up if there's questions, comments, discussion.
I have one.
Yes, sir.
I'm on the retirement board and the VIVA board, and the numbers are better since the first of the year, last several months, trending better.
Yes, probably a lot better.
And you only need the money when you retire, right? So.
Right, you only need it as people retire and draw on it. So, yeah, I mean, the plans are in pretty good shape, really good shape compared to a lot of others throughout the state, so.
And I go to the MAC, Michigan Association of County meetings, and other county, we talk about budgets and budgeting, and a lot of the counties are not doing as well in their funding. So I think we're doing a good job.
Correct, I would agree.
Yeah, I was just going to make thanks for the presentation. And as the chairman observed, I also, I think through it was Crane's business, they did an analysis of all the counties and how underfunded so many counties are. Mm-hmm. Some are millions actually in debt in the Upper Peninsula across Michigan, but I would say we're in a very strong position, both on VIVA as well as the pension, right?
100%.
144%.
Yeah.
It's probably not rivaled anywhere in Michigan as far as county pensions.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with all the counties, but I can tell you you're one of the better shaped ones that we have, yes. A lot of them are at the 40, 50% funded maybe. There's some that are down to the 20, 30% funded. For pension, retiree health care, a lot of them are at 0 to 20%. Some of them are not pre-funding their retiree health care. So yes, the position the Bay County is in for those two plans is very, very nice. Very good.
Yeah, thank you for the great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Otherwise, a motion to receive would be in order.
Motion received.
Support.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, City of Bay City, application for industrial facilities tax exemption certificates.
I'll move to receive
Motion to
it.
receive.
I'll support it.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Committees, Ways and Means, Mr. Benashek.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Resolution number 2023-116, 2023 National Child Welfare Law Conference. I move to approve this resolution.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 2023-117, Title 4-D Cooperative Reimbursement Program, 2024 to 2028. I move to approve this resolution.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 2023-118, Michigan State University School of Social Work, Virtual Connections Grant Subrecipient Agreement, $1,024.44. I move to approve this resolution.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolution number 2023-119, e-Gold Fax Electronic Faxing Agreement. I move to approve this resolution.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 2023-120, Court Recording Software for the Record FTR Gold Recording Software. I move to approve this resolution.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 2023-121, Multi-Function Copiers Bid Award, 36-month lease. I move to approve this resolution.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 2023-122, Payables. I move to approve this resolution.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And thank you. Personnel Human Services, Mrs. Niemiec.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay.
Resolution number 2023-123, AAA Annual Implementation Plan, AIP4 FY 2024, Region 7, Area Agency on Aging. Move to adopt this resolution.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I believe he's going to try to come in. I don't know if we've set a time yet for him to come speak to us, or the CEO, sometime. Somewhere, pretty soon. All right, in Mr. Herrick's absence, I've asked Commissioner Poyer to work on this next resolution.
Motion to receive.
This would be the report of the county executive.
I'll support it.
Okay. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we have the report of the county official.
Chairman, I'll be brief. Just some positive news from Congressman Kildee and the community project funding, which has been reported to the floor of the House from the House Appropriations Committee, awaiting a vote. The $1 million request for the community center was reduced to $770,000, and the $300,000 request for the Bay County Land Bank was reduced to about $230,000. Hopefully, those figures will hold through the Senate and be signed into law, and that will be some money, coming that we badly need here in Bay County. And we appreciate Congressman Kildee's, always looking out for Bay County and always responding to our requests. So a little bit later, I know we're excited, the the Clear the Shelter event is taking place, and I know that later under announcements, we'll want to give a report on that, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Any questions? Should be like the British Parliament here, right? We should have some tough questions for you. We don't do that. Motion to receive, I guess we received it already. We do have county officials. If anybody else has any comments, I think Jim spoke for all of them, right? We discussed putting that on there or not putting that on there, since you speak for everybody.
Thanks.
Commissioner comments. Comments from the commissioners. All right. Unfinished business. Mr. Benajek, I think we're going to take this one.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Referred matters, motion to adopt the recommendation of Attorney Kevin Kilby as presented during closed session at the Bay County Ways and Means Committee meeting on July 12, 2023 regarding Monitor Township DDA Technology Park District 1 extension.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business. Public input. One more chance. One more chance. One more chance. Miscellaneous. Announcement. Nope. Go.
The Alex Burke Memorial Bay County Tennis Tournament will take place August 4th, through the 6th, and entries must be received by July 31st, so the deadline is coming up. For additional information, those interested can get additional information at baycommunitytennis.com.
Yes.
Is it okay to go?
Yeah.
Okay, I have one. Former Commissioners Coonan and Krager always had their beach wellness project. It's back on this year. It's been, I think, about 13 years. It's not been going the last couple because of COVID. It's August 12th. It's a 10K run, a 5K run, a 5K walk, and they are adding a pet walk at the end. It starts at 9 o'clock on the 12th of August, and you can register online at runsignup.com and go to the beach wellness section to sign up. I think it's $25 entry fee. And if you haven't been out to the beach, you need to get out to the beach because they use every penny of this towards grooming and making everything better out there. Kim was out there today. I saw a video of them online, and it's really nice. I mean, it's really, really nice. We walk out there a lot. It's very nice. So you can sign up for August 12th.
Thank you.
There was going to be a scrap tire drive at Fraser Township Hall on Mackinac Road, and it's going to be August the 5th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's for Bay County residents, and you have to have a photo ID or proof of being a Bay County resident, and there's a limit of 10 tires per resident, and only passenger car tires or smaller are accepted, and that's at Fraser Township Hall, August the 5th.
Thank you. Any other announcements?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I have one. The Bay County Sheriff Office will be holding a training scenario on July 26th of this year, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. The training will take place in the Saginaw Bay near the mouth of the Saginaw River. Sheriff Troy Cunningham, the Bay County Sheriff's Office dive team, and the numerous other agencies will participate in the training exercise, which will consist of a simulated plane crash and emergency personnel response. This scenario-based training exercise will provide invaluable hands-on training for a wide range of first responders based in the Bay County community. The training exercise will conclude medical personnel responding and rendering first aid along with the search and rescue of victims. The training will transition into a recovery training, which will include numerous dive teams from the Southeast Michigan Dive Group, which is comprised of approximately 250 divers, making it the largest mutual aid response dive group in Michigan and one of the largest in the country. While the training exercise is being conducted, the DNR boat launch in Bangor Township will be closed to the public traffic. So,
Thank you. I have an announcement for formation of a standing budget finance committee. So we plan to have some meetings with department heads. Right now, I'm going to make Commissioner Nemec, Mr. Menajek, and myself the three, because we can only have three at the meeting at a time. But they're 8-hour sessions, like 31st of July, the second, third, and 4th of August. So we may need some subs to fill in. So if you're available, I'll be getting a hold of you. So that's coming up. Appointments. We have the October Land Bank Authority, 2 3-year terms from the city of Bay City, 2 applicants. Bay County Department of Health and Human Services, 1 3-year term. And Jury Commission, 1 6-year term. December, we have a Bay County Veterans Affairs Committee, 1 4-year term. Department on Aging Advisory Committee, we have 4 2-year terms, districts 1, 3, 5, and 7. And that's up to each commissioner to contact their person that's in there now to see if they're still interested or if they want to, somebody else would like to do it. And closed session, do we need a closed session? Okay. Otherwise, a motion to
adjourn. Oh,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
Mr. Chair, I still had an announcement.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I didn't want to be rude and interrupt.
Okay.
But announcement with the shelter, we have the empty the shelter going on currently. It started yesterday, 17th through the 31st. And probably had 7 cats go yesterday, 5 more today. But we're at currently about 126 animals. So probably 100 more dogs came in this year already than last year. So we're having a lot of animals sadly being dumped off, strays. So we encourage everybody that anybody that would like the animal to please come at this affordable time to get one and share it with friends and family. You can keep up on our county Facebook site. We're always talking about everything going on. So if you could share that with the public to help get some animals their forever homes, it'd be greatly appreciated at this time. The price is $50 for a dog and $25 for a cat at this time, if that helps. We also have another really cool event. We're just starting out on Friday the 28th. We're getting veterans. It's called Vets and Pets. I have some veterans that came in and started taking on dogs and rehabilitating them and getting them out to public. So talked to this gentleman named James, and he just started coming around we had 3 meetings ready. We're going to start on July 28th and have all veterans that care about animals want to come and just talk about veteran type things and have coffee and donuts and start walking dogs. It's a little program we just starting on 28th, so any veterans that be interested in that, I think it's gonna be a great opportunity to start getting animals out and maybe adopted that way too. And I'll talk more about it. It's just the first one, so I'm just kind of see where it snowballs. It's just some 2 announcements. Thank you.
Being a veteran, if I go there and I find a nice dog and I take it home,
I'm hoping that happens. I'm hoping that happens.
We'll see some good ones there.
Well, thank you for your time.
Mr. Chair.
yes.
Matt, what's that $25.50? Does that include all the shots or?
Yes,
Okay.
they're already be spayed and neutered, and it'll have the rabies shots, license, everything.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah, to sort of describe this for some of the new commissioners, normally to adopt a dog, like for example, and I adopted Benji and also our cat, was like about $500, $400 for a cat. With a partnership we have with All About Animals and Bissell Foundation, as long as you adopt those pets out, Bissell reimburses Bay County every penny for spaying, neutering, vaccinating. And I'm not sure on the microchipping, I think Bay County pays for that.
Yeah, we do.
Microchips,
Yes, we do.
but that's to reunite the animal with their owners, should they get lost. But it really has been a wonderful collaboration with the Bissell Foundation, and they do it beyond Bay County, but we That's the only way we could achieve a no-kill status and adopt 97% of our animals, because the cost on adopting a pet. I remember, I think our cat had kennel cough, and it was $400 or $500 in vet bills, plus spaying, neutering, and vaccinating. You know, you're looking at, used to be about $800, $900 to adopt a cat if they had a medical issue like kennel cough, which is a respiratory issue. And so we really combated that by changing the, separating with a wall the dogs and the cats, because the dogs' continual barking will cause stress to the cats, and that depresses their immune systems and makes them susceptible to kennel cough, which is a respiratory issue. But with our new shelter, and we're hopefully going to be making progress, hearing about where we're at in the process on a management team to begin that process for a new shelter. We're going to be in great shape, because HVAC is critical, and separation of the animals. And the shelter we have now, Tim and commissioners, fellow commissioners, was a mosquito-controlled building that was converted, but was never designed to be an animal shelter. It's very small, and the staff I was over today took out a big load of some blankets and a lot of towels that I had excess at home, and that comes in handy at the shelter. But staff's working very hard, and we're very busy with calls coming in. But it's going well, and sounds like we're adopting quite a few cats, and we're chipping away at the dogs. And part of the problem too, Matt mentioned people dropping off dogs. Some people feel really bad, but a large dog can consume now about $100 or $80 worth of food in a week. And so some people are feeling financial pressure, and they feel they can't afford their pet anymore, and they're dropping them off, or they're being lost in neighborhoods or left as strays. And so a lot of activity out there, and we can't wait till we get that new shelter underway and get the planning together for that. So that's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Matt. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Was it somebody's birthday today?
Jim's.
I would like to wish Matt Beaver a happy birthday and many more.
And we won't let Dennis sing to you, by the way. We pay him not to sing at the Lions Club, so.
Thank you.
Yes. Motion to adjourn, would you in order? Motion adjourned.
Support.
Yes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?